So next up we had Martin Pettigrew, who has the voice of an angel. Did you guys agree?
I did.
It was so smooth. This guy should do guided meditations.
He just has such a calm demeanor.
So smooth.
Such a contrast between the morning Marcus Sheridan.
Yeah.
Marcus Sheridan was all like energetic, ready to go. I'm glad he was first because I was half asleep when he started at 9 a.m. and then he got on stage and he pumped everybody up. But then Martin Pettigrew later on, I mean,
creamy peanut butter.
Oh yeah, he was so smooth and just calming, and he had that kind of air about him where he's a leader, he knows what he's about, he knows what he's talking about, and he just commands that attention.
Yeah.
I really like that about him.
Yep, good guy. And some of the things that I really took away are, he talked about a Jeff Bezos mindset about customer acquisition, which is customer obsession. Like, be obsessed with your customers. Like, what is it that they really want? Like, how can you change the game? And he makes customer acquisition his #1 priority. I need to review.
He made that he distinguished between customers and promoters. So you can have a sales team and bring in customers and make sales, but once you convert that into people who are obsessed with your services and your brand and your company, then you have promoters. Then you have people who are going out there saying, you need to use these people for your gutters, for your roofing, for anything that you need.
Yeah. And what did he say about the saying? It's under promise, over deliver.
Yeah.
And no, over promise, over deliver.
Well, that's what he says.
Right.
He lives by over promise
and over deliver. Yeah. Just like full send, as hard as you can. Go hard in the paint.
Yeah.
He also talked about, one of the things he really spoke about was inside sales. And I love the concept of eliminating non-sales activity from the salespeople. Like, what are your salespeople doing that isn't actually generating income? And that could be anything from running materials to the crew, or sitting down picking out colors, or doing collections or whatever, and really developing a amazing back office support system that takes care of that, like an inside sales team. I think a lot of contractors can learn from that, because we want them, like, your salespeople are the only ones bringing in revenue, so let's not take away any of their time being in the streets doing stuff that literally anybody else could do for $15 an hour.
I can attest to that, because I mean, in the past, the sales guy at my company did everything, right? Ran materials, did all that craziness, and we this year switched to his philosophy of they just need to sell.
Exactly.
And nothing else. And it's made the biggest difference. So he nailed it.
Because I think about how limiting that is. Like, I have to go and do this on Saturday. I have to go and run and get 3 more bundles of shingles when I could be knocking 45 more doors and getting 3 more deals signed today.
Right.
So that's really important for them.
It's my honor, absolute honor, to introduce to you Martin Pettigrew.
Thank you for the introduction, Dmitry. Today, I want to explain to you an idea that every single salesman and business owner should learn. An idea that would help you understand better our roofing industry, and you're going to help you learn from every single fantastic speakers that we have here. An idea that can transform your business into a machine. An idea I wish I knew 14 years ago when I started. An idea that can transform your salespeople into a sales force. An idea that's very revolutionary. At the same time, it's simple, and it has the power to change your business and your life. So I'm very excited. Yesterday, I gave the first copy to Dmitry, the first copy of the roofing machine. I'm really excited about this. There's a little QR code on here that's not available really online. It's really hard to find. If you want a copy, you can get it here. I want to thank somebody, okay, because writing the book, my wife made me promise this, okay? I was going to tell you that I don't speak English very well. I think it's pretty easy to identify this, but I had to write it, and I don't like writing, and I had to write this. It took me a long time to write this book, but then it had to be edited. So I want to thank Fady for editing this entire book so it can be understandable by others and make it in English. So thank you very much, Fady, for this. So how many of you know somebody that's in great shape? They look good, they're fitted, but at the same time, they don't look like they're doing much to be in good shape. Do you know anybody like this? Raise your hand. Don't you hate them? I hate them too, but the roofing industry is a little bit the same. We make it very complicated, and it doesn't have to be this hard. I know I'm watching, I've been talking to a lot of people here, and I've been in those shoes, and I'm still in those shoes. I still work a lot of hours. 40 hours is not part of the equation. It's 70, 80 hours. And I know you're doing the same thing. I'm the same as you. I went through the entire process, and I'm going to start with this, with Dmitry, but if you want to know about the history, my history, how we got here, go on the Roofing Inside. Dmitry's got a great video about our visit to Monarch Roofing, and if you have a chance and you can get Dmitry to come do a tour, it's awesome. Dmitry doesn't talk too much about himself, but he can teach you a lot of things. He's a great marketer, one of the best one. Would you agree with this? Raise your hand. Actually, I want to do something. You guys ever seen those Ray-Ban glasses, the new ones that take videos and pictures? Anybody seen those? Yes? They're pretty cool, man. I love those. You enjoy using them?
I haven't bought them, but I have a friend that got them, and she likes them.
They're awesome. And also, there's a little speaker in here, so you can use them as instead of using the AirPods, you can use them to talk on the phone, so be hands-free on the roof, so they're awesome. But I always had a dream to thank, not a dream, but I wanted to thank Dmitry, and I don't know how. He's a great marketer. What do you think it would be a good idea to thank him today? Do you agree with this? What about if we do this thing, okay? They don't get started here, but we do roofing process rocks all together, and I'll record it, and we'll put it on social media for him. Would you be down with this? Yes? Okay, so at 3, we're going to try it, and I'm going to start recording. We'll do 3. We said roofing process rocks. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Roofing process rocks. Awesome. Thank you very much. So, awesome. So, our company, very proud of the process that we've done, and Dmitry made me promise that I was going to talk about our growth, okay? We're a $40 million plus business this year. It's awesome. I'm really proud of this, but it doesn't really mean anything, guys, because our industry is a $20 billion industry. So you're going to ask me, why am I doing this? Well, I'm going to share my tricks or my tips and how we got to this point. Well, it's very simple. I feel like we're a very small part of this whole industry. It's a bit like when you're a kid, you're growing up, you look at the stars, you're like, wow, there's so many stars, and there's so many solar systems, there's so many other planets. We feel very small, right? That's how I feel. And we have a motto at Monarch Roofing. We say, you deserve the best. And I know each one of you thinks the same way. You want to provide the customers with the best warranty, the best installation, and the best service. Yes, yes? Absolutely, right? So I'm passionate about this, but at this point, I'm thinking 40 million, how is that looking with 20 billion? It doesn't make any sense. So if we can stop competing against each other and start dominating our markets, we can make a difference, okay? We can start to touch so many more owners and get them what they deserve, the best. That's why I'm here, man. A couple years ago, in 2014-15, I went to a GF Wealth Builder. It's in Arizona. There's an after party after this award ceremony, and I go on a top floor. It's late, really late in the morning, and me and a couple guys at the team, my wife is there. We go to a top bar, a rooftop bar. It's a gorgeous place. It's all white. The bar is clean, white, very advanced, beautiful place. Then there's one guy that's sitting there. He's drinking cognac. Ever drink cognac? I never had cognac before, but I'm like, I want to try. I never met anybody that drinks cognac. I want to meet him. I went to meet him, and his name was Mike Keek. Anybody heard about Mike Keek before? Mike Keek, he invented the laminated shingles in the 80s. So he's an older gentleman. Not many people know who he is. I didn't know who he was either, so don't feel bad. But I asked him, I said, Mike, it's 2014-15. That was in the 80s. You've been doing this for 30, 40 years. What keeps you going? It's definitely not the money. I'm sure you've done very well with this. And he said, that was crazy. He said, I'm here, I'm passionate, Martin, not about the money, but to provide a shelter for humankind. Wow. So when you're thinking that you don't matter, you matters. We're providing shelter to humankind. Our trade is very important. We must do it right. So that's the first lesson for today. We need to start doing the right jobs. What I'm going to explain to you, it's mostly with sales and the structure of a business. So where's Mark? Mark, yeah. Sorry, man, you've been really busy today. You had some some breakout session, which was awesome. And by the way, Mark is our first 2017 $5 million salesman. And he's got some more breakout session today, but I forgot to tell you, because you were really busy and I didn't want to tell you anything, I put your phone number on the screen. So, yeah, thanks, yeah. So what I want to do, okay, I'm here for you. I want to share with you my biggest concern today is not giving you enough value, okay? So I want to give you as much information as I can. I only have 45 minutes. I'm trying to go through this pretty quickly. But if you have any question through the process, I'm going to try to be done in 40 minutes. We can have 5 minutes, maybe we can answer some questions, but send the questions to this phone number. That's Mark's phone number, okay? So thank you, Mark, appreciate it, man. But when you listen to this speech, okay, understand what he's saying and what he's saying about how he does sales. This guy is one of the most influential, probably the best salesman ever, in my opinion. But listen to what he says.
The Apple brand has clearly suffered from neglect in this area in the last few years. And we need to bring it back. The way to do that is not to talk about speeds and feeds. It's not to talk about MIPS and megahertz. It's not to talk about why we're better than Windows. The dairy industry tried for 20 years to convince you that milk was good for you. It's a lie, but they tried anyway. And the sales were going like this. And then they tried Got Milk, and the sales are going like this. Got Milk doesn't even talk about the product. Matter of fact, it focuses on the absence of the product. But the best example of all, and one of the greatest jobs of marketing in the universe has ever seen is Nike. Remember, Nike sells a commodity. They sell shoes. And yet, when you think of Nike, you feel something different than a shoe company. In their ads, as you know, they don't ever talk about the product. They don't ever tell you about their air soles and why they're better than Reebok's air soles. What does Nike do in their advertising? They honor great athletes and they honor great athletics. That's who they are. That's what they are about.
Very powerful message. One of the things I get out of it is we got to quit selling on products or items or things that make our shingles better. We got to start selling on service. Agree? Yes or yes? Yes. Start selling on service. And I want to talk about this real quick. I met this guy just a few minutes ago. His name is Edson. Edson, you here, bud? Yes. You're from Orlando. One thing that you made my day here, because I don't think that people are not courageous when we're doing this. I think we're all courageous. I think we're just like to comply. We comply. We're trying to get information from who we work into a different market. We comply to what the norm is. Got to stop doing this and start going with your gut. You're courageous. Go for it. And that's why you're here. And hopefully you'll learn a couple things. But sales, okay, one of the major thing that made me realize this, okay, a couple years ago, you guys ever had a secret shopper on your team that went around and get estimates from other contractors? Okay, yes, I hate doing this. I didn't mean to do this. It was not planned. It was not my fault. I didn't trigger this, but it happened. So we got 5 estimates. I'm putting all the estimates on the table, and we start looking, and every single estimate, guys, they all look the same. If you're a homeowner, you cannot tell the difference. My eye was going to the numbers. That's all I want to see, the numbers. So you cannot sell on the items. We got to start selling on the service. So what's important here is if we can build a service machine, okay, so our one thing, very important, this guy here says, Vince Lombardi says, success demands singleness of purpose. It's coming as well from the book, One Thing. A lot of you do different things. We fell through this, the same thing as well. We did roofing, siding, drywall, painting, we did everything. We changed the entire company to be looking to do roofing. That's all we do now. But as a company, what is the one thing that everybody should be looking towards? So every time there's a decision that's made, the decision is simpler to make. So we always make the right decision towards the right one goal. Any idea of what's your one thing in your company that can help all your decision making? If everybody would think that way. Any ideas? That's you. Customer service, focus, awesome. I heard customer service, awesome. Okay, so to get customer service, and there was a slide a couple slides ago with Jeff Bezos, the first thing he says is obsession with our customer. I think it's critical. Okay, we gotta be obsessed with our customer. Customers are ever changing. You see it, Jeff Bezos revolutionized the whole industry with Amazon, and now we buy grocery through apps, we buy trucks through internet, so we don't really buy the same way as we did before. So we gotta be obsessed with our customer. But customer service comes after customers acquisition. So the one thing for the company is customer acquisition. We gotta get sales. If you don't have sales, you're not gonna have customer service. You have nobody to serve. How do you do that? How is this affecting your production? So we have salesmen, of course, salesmen are all about selling. It makes sense, customer acquisition. But how does that affect this guy here, Nate, on the picture? Nate's a superintendent. He's on the job site all day. How does customer acquisition affect him? So imagine this, it's 7 o'clock on a Saturday night, and Nate is tired. It's 100 degrees in South Carolina every day. It's been working all week. And then there's trash left at the end of the day. He's got two options: pick up the trash, clean up the job, or go home. Saturday night, it's a really hard decision, especially if the homeowner is not there. Most likely, he's gonna leave because the homeowner is not there. If it's customer service oriented, the homeowner is not there, it's not gonna make a difference. If he's customer acquisition minded, he's gonna ask himself, if I pick up the trash now, is that gonna help us get more customer? Yes or no? The answer is yes, you do it. Nate knows that Jim across the street is watching. There's always somebody watching, and we can get more customers out of it. He's gonna pick up the trash, and we're gonna get more jobs from this. Our superintendent are so powerful, and we built this door knocking template thanks to Becca Switzer. Thank you very much, Becca. You don't know about that, but you helped us a lot. He sent me an invoice, but door to door with Deshaun, Brian, awesome, D2D. There's a lot of good content online, but we started doing door knocking with our superintendent to create momentum in neighborhoods. So a lot of companies here, they said, well, I can't afford superintendent. I get that, but you cannot not afford it if you want to grow, because those superintendent, one per cruise, create momentum for your company in sales. They need to be trained to do roofing. Number one thing for a superintendent is flawless installation, but they can create momentum for you. So customer service, customer acquisition, everybody's looking towards getting more customers on board. Build to last is very important. A lot of CEO here or owners or leaders, raise your hands, yes. You probably fell in this trap before where you have a superintendent, you're trying to pay per items they're doing. You think it's the best motivator. That's what we were doing before. Like, if you get the delivery, you're gonna get paid for delivery. If you do a roof inspection, you're gonna get paid for roof inspection. If you return bundles or shingles to the suppliers, we're gonna give you $1 per bundles. How many of you have done that? So what the problem is with this is the action becomes optional. If Nate doesn't feel, or Chris, or whoever superintendent doesn't feel like going and do this action, he's not gonna do it. It only affects him, not the company, which is wrong. So at the end, the next morning, when we get a production meeting, and I said, hey, Nate, did you get the inspection completed for your job yesterday? He said, no, just send somebody else. I don't care about the $15, right? Because it's not much money anyways. So we're trying to change their mindset to not be paid for things they're doing. It's cheap leadership. Cheap leadership is, I give you this, you do this, I give you this. That doesn't work. You don't build a culture like this. So we start having the night of the month, we call it, and whoever wins the night of the month is based on those criteria. And anybody can win it. It doesn't have to be superintendent. You can be in sales and marketing and production, warranty department, doesn't matter. But all the things that are built that are not financial, but everybody can do to increase sales. Like a Google review. Why is Google review important? We all know that. We get referrals from this. So this changes the mindset to become more of a team and not so much of one person. Their action matters because it affects the entire team to get more customer. So Mark, I'm gonna need you here again, bud. Okay, so you have everybody now in your team that's looking the same way. The one thing, we're gonna sell roof. We're gonna try to get as many appointments as possible. And then we need some emotion towards this. Okay, you have all the butterfly flying in one way, we need to get some emotion. There's something unique. If you watch any professional athletes or any professional team, they have touch, they have secret handshake, they have different things that they do. A touch, okay, it's very simple. A touch brings calmness in your nervous system. A touch will release oxytocin. Oxytocin is a hormone known to increase emotional bonding. Okay, sounds very simple, but Mark, come here. We'll do the Monarch handshake. And by the way, we'll do this with every employee. If you're my radius and I see you have a blue shirt on, I'm doing this. When I'm going to a job site and there's a guy picking up trash that is looking at me like, oh my gosh, you're the leader of this company. We do the handshake. I don't have to ask him too much question, but we just bonded together. We're buddies now. I respect him. So it's a simple thing, and then that's what it looks like. Wow. So simple. Any Cowboy fans here? Yeah, a couple. Good, good, good. I'm a big, my favorite team is Tom Brady. Okay. Watch the video and watch what he says, okay? He's talking very powerful words and he's touching.
Let's go now. Start right now. Go get some points. Mindset demeanor right now. Right now. Mindset demeanor. Here we go. Right now. Right now. Work. It's our game. Let's go. That's the standard. They can't talk to you, man. Go to the house. Let's go now. Right here. Let's go make some plays now. Don't wait for the man next to you. Go make it yourself. Mindset mentality. Let's go get some points. Let's go get some points. Go!
Throws it over the middle top. Running away to the 40. He's going to go. Woo! Ron Smith into the end zone.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Yeah! Let's go! Yeah! Hey! Let's go!
That makes you want to be a Cowboy fans now, right? What a video. But he's touching, he's excited, and he brings a lot of energy. That creates a great culture. Another thing, how many of you have trucks that are wrapped? Everybody, right? Roofers, we're very proud of this. We have a big truck. We put it in social media, and it's awesome. It really works. It's a branding trick that works for everybody. What if, thinking about culture and create emotional, okay, I want to show you a little video. We personalize our vehicle to each of our employees, and you tell me after you see this video if this person, Stephanie, is more likely to work hard or not, if she's going to be engaged tomorrow morning when she comes to work.
Stop filming, thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Yay, you got to explore.
All right, so the first video was Stephanie, very emotional, little thing. She had her mother had some health issues, and we made it special with the dragonfly to bring hope. That's her logo that they have in her family. And as you can see, she was so engaged after this. It really works. So anything you can do to create emotion in your company, you have the look in the right way, they're emotionally engaged, absolutely, you must do it. The next one with the car is just because we all have trucks, but I want to one up a little bit. So we have NASCAR that we sponsor every year. Doesn't mean anything, but okay, so the last thing about the culture is, okay, I got this question asked this morning. It says, what's your process? The only people that can do your process is gonna be, you can take a picture of this. This is exactly all the process for Monarch Roofing from step 1 to step 36. Okay, take time to write how is good the process is gonna be. From this, we have checklists for each of the process, but that's a good start. Okay, so you get them excited, They know where they're going, and now they know how to get there. So, okay, so I'm getting to the point where I want to be, okay? This is the roofing machine. The machine affects everything and cannot have it all by itself, but as a part, as a whole, with culture, training, hiring, and the culture, you can dominate. So the machine is divided into customer acquisition, you can see on the left side, and customer service to the right side. We call it the hunters and the farmers. It's divided into 4 different categories: marketing, sales, production, and warranty department. And those divisions are divided into inside position and outside position. A lot of people are asking, who should I hire next? Okay, this is going to be very powerful here. So the inside out, so the managers, we talk about this, Marcus Sheridan yesterday said this, he said, one of the powerful thing is to get marketing and sales to connect together. Why? So they can get the pains from the salesman, marketing can get the pains from the salesman, and they can create content online so you can solve people's problems to make you the expert in the industry. I thought it was brilliant. So the sales manager is responsible to create those connections, and the production coordinator, the same thing on the customer service side. Now, the industry is changing. Our world is changing constantly. We don't really like people coming to our home. Day to day, door to door, I get it, definitely great way to get customers, but what I'm talking about is if they could choose to not meet anybody and make a purchase, we all do it, right? We all go on Amazon, we don't go to the store that much anymore. We buy online. We can make a phone call over meeting somebody. Last thing we want is people in our home. What do we do to change that? What do we do to adapt to this process? So the inside out, if you think about this little exercise, okay? So if you have a $20 million business, and then you get back, people find out that you're here in Orlando. I talked to a couple people from Chicago yesterday, from Pennsylvania, a little bit everywhere up north, right? Awesome. And your staff finds out that you're here, right? And they decide that, you know what? We're gonna go on a cruise. And you go on a cruise this weekend, and something happened, they don't come back. I don't know what happens, but they don't come back. Except for your HR guys and your installers and maybe some accounting, okay? Knowing what you know now from people who like to buy online, they don't want to meet many people, who would you hire first, knowing that the phone and the business is going to keep going? Any ideas? Who would you hire to pick up the phone calls, right? You're going to hire inside positions? Yes? So we started building this business on this. You would hire an inside sales, and you would hire the production coordinator. 2 key positions to the revolution of Monarch Roofing, okay? And then you can start building from that point on. Your outside salesman, how many people have a hard time finding outside salesmen? It's really hard to find. Really hard to find. So I'd rather hire inside sales that can do phone calls, texts, emails, follow up with the customer than an outside salesman. The outside salesman activities are limited. It's different. Our inside sales can do a lot more activities than the outside salesman. Outside sales, how many activities do you do that are really sales oriented? How many homeowners do you meet a day? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, good day, right? Inside sales can do 60, 70, 80 activities a day. What's better? What should you put your money at? Inside sales makes a lot of sense. Plus, it's a lot easier to hire an inside sales than an outside sales. Would you agree? The inside positions are a lot easier to hire. So that's where we started to build this roofing machine through this concept, turning the inside out, the whole business from the inside. And one of the most powerful things that happened when we started doing this, nobody went on a cruise or anything, by the way, we didn't lose anybody, but when we started doing this, the inside sales, is that the customer service that we provided to the homeowners was 10x. I heard this before and it makes me mad. Do not under-promise and over-deliver. Well, we need to start thinking, let's over-promise and over-deliver. Inside sales can do this. You want to get referrals, you want to create promoters, get an inside sales that can keep touch with your customers. We started having this problem after maybe a few months of doing this. The customers start calling us, they start calling the inside sales more than the outside salesman. They would not call the outside salesman as much anymore. They start calling inside sales because they were in touch so many times with, again, text message, email, calls, Zoom calls, templates, automatic emails, that they become more closer than the outside salesman. And outside salesman, how hard is it to do your job? You're on a roof, right? You're on a roof, you're meeting people, you're in a truck, you're not really in the right environment to be high performing. So that changed in our business. So this stat blew my mind, okay? So 36% of selling activities for salesmen versus 64% of activities are not selling. You're in sales, give me some activities that are not sales related. Who's in sales here? Give me an activity that is not, you should not be doing when you're in sales. What's that? Fill up your truck, okay, good. Pick up materials, not a sales activity that salesmen would do. Insurance companies, follow up with insurance companies, pick up material, do final inspection for the roof. Bring in sample boards after the roof is sold. That's not a sales activities. And we had to get off this mind because we love our salesmen, outside salesmen, to meet the customer at the end because we said, hey, we're gonna get some referrals from it. Well, the trick is we have divided to have production superintendent on each job site. That's their job. Don't be afraid to call yourself a salesman. When you sell to the homeowner, you can tell them that somebody else is gonna take it from here because I am busy as a salesman, meeting people like you, homeowner, and I'm not gonna have time to pick up my phone. If something happens, I gotta meet people. I'm not gonna be on the job site all the time. But our fantastic production coordinator, if you have questions about color, if you have questions about delivery, time, schedule, or if you have any questions about production, they're there all the time. Call them, give them the cards, pass it down. You can call me anytime, by the way, but most likely they're gonna understand the process, they're gonna go there. You're there to educate salesmen. So again, hiring is so difficult. If we can reverse those numbers, that is gonna help you win a lot more jobs and be more efficient. So you can have salesmen that do sales activities. It's so hard to get salesmen. Let's give them the process, the system that they deserve. And what I hear a lot here, I hear a lot of objections on this. Somebody told me like, well, Martin, I can't afford to do this because my salesmen, they gotta do other things. I can't afford to get somebody else to do this. Well, what is your goal? Is your goal to get funds, to make money, right? If you wanna make money, quit thinking, I need more salesmen, have more efficient activities for your salesmen. So get the other things away from them. They should be doing sales activities. So meeting homeowner, doing inspection. That's about it. That's about what they should be focused on. The other thing is I can do it better. If you're 3 million, let's say $1, $2, $3, $4 million, you're the salesman, you're the owner, you're probably the #1 salesman in your team, right? We hear this all the time. I fell through the same thing, but we got to put our ego aside and start training people. If you cannot do it yourself, John Maxwell talks about this. He says, teach others. How you going to do it is you say, I do it, I learn it. So you did already because you're the greatest salesman. Then you show somebody, you go with, they come with you, and then you go with them to help them, and then they can go on their own. It's very time consuming to do this, so you can do it the hard way, or you can have trainers. So I know that's one thing that you guys are here for, and I'm here for to learn and to get some trainers. But you can do it better if you do it as a team. If you want to grow, you must make those decisions. This is Lizzie. Okay, so one of the things, she's an inside sales in Wilmington. One of the things that happened is that salesmen, what do they hate to do the most? Well, follow up, but get paid, right? No, I'm just kidding. Follow up. You're right. Who said that? Deshaun, thank you. Yeah, follow up. We hate following up, but it's not that we don't hate follow up. And I fell through this a couple of years ago. I'd walk in the office at sales meeting. I said, guys, we got to focus. Let's follow up. We don't get these jobs because people called the office and said, hey, Johnny didn't follow up with me. I don't even know. It's been a month. I haven't heard from him. So I went with somebody else. I didn't hear from you guys. It's never a people problem. It's always a system problem. 40% of salespeople will never follow up. It's not your guys. It's the entire industry. Another big stat here is 80% of the sales calls are made, the closing between the 5th and the 12th touch. So we decided to create those 5th to 12th touch automatically. So again, with inside sales, you can accomplish that. With inside sales, you can have all the activities and you can get to 5 easily. I make sure we get to 12 before we present. And anything counts, by the way. Social media counts, you see your truck, that counts as 1, 2. But we may make sure that we overcommit, we over-deliver, and over-promise. So the machine, the team, 80-20 rule. Back into 1955, Ray Kroc. Have you ever seen the movie The Founders, by the way? Or yes, what a great movie, right? Awesome. But this guy's traveling the country everywhere. He's in windshield time. He's going to meet, he's got to stop at payphone to make calls for his appointment, and then he goes and meets some owners to try to sell milkshake before McDonald's. He's trying to sell this milkshake. What happens? He's traveling the whole day and doesn't have a cell phone, so when he gets there, sometimes the owner is there, sometimes he's not, so he's wasting a lot of time. This is crazy, right? Well, I feel like we do this a little bit sometimes with our salesmen. So we create a team, inside and outside sales team. They work together to hold each other accountable for the success. I hold them accountable, so if there's a sales or not, they are working together. So they go through leads list every single morning to see what the action plan is going to be with that person. And by doing this, we increase the sales from 36% to 53%. Big difference. So you don't need more leads, you don't need more sales people, you need more support, you need more inside sales. And by the way, we don't call our inside sales assistant, okay? They're not assistant. They're selling, they're trained as sales, and they do sales calls and sales activities all day. They got headsets, they work in cubicles, and they are following up and trying to educate homeowners and serve them as much as possible. We don't do cold calling, but it's all about serving. More data on this, okay? Our guys, this year we're gonna have 3 guys that we're gonna do over $5 million. Those 2 start in 2019, Cody and John. So we talk about proof of concept, that's a great one. So we're gonna have 3. And the first one we got was in 2017 with Mark, and it just took us a long time to really understand what we were touching. We had this system in 2017, we were starting it with inside sales, again, to work together, but it really blew up, guys, the last couple of years. Major, major, major difference from doing those little changes. Make sense, anybody? Inside sales, outside sales? Thank you. Okay, books to read. Okay, we hear, how do we learn? We learn from books we read and people we talk to, right? It's pretty simple. We give every single employee the first one, Relentless, Tim Grover. It's got a new one, Winning. I read both, they're awesome. But we give this for the mindset to every single employee. The best leadership book, the one thing I would recommend to anybody. We talk about traction this morning in the CEO panels. I recommend another book from this author, which is Rocket Fuel. Awesome books, must read. Okay, so a couple years ago, 2017, we go through a little bit of not a slowdown, but we went through and it was about the same in our company. We were about 17 million, and then we couldn't really get to above this. So I called this guy, you know Best Roofing, Craig Willick? I probably mispronounced his name. But awesome, I know Ryan Groth knows him, but I talked to him about, he gave me 30 minutes. In his 30 minutes, I started to describe where we're going, and I said, hey, we have some problems, we're stuck there. And he said, Martin, how's your turnover? I said, well, we got a pretty good turnover. Our salesmen, I said, I hired great salesmen. They're great people, but they quit because they're overwhelmed and they can't keep up with it. They're not built for it. He said, Martin, you need trainers and you need to hire recruiters. 2 things that was my duty to do. And this is what we did. Again, we tested it out back then. And I'll get to a disc assessment in a second, but it was a big investment. We talk about long-term decision here right now, okay? So long-term decision. That year, I went to see our accountant. His name is China. I said, China, hiring this trainer and hiring this recruiter and get all these systems, because it costs money to get programs and process, how much have we spent so far? And I went to his office as an accountant. He said, Martin, it cost $354,000. It's like this, like, wow, I'm not even mad, but how do you know that so precisely? He says, Martin, you're spending way too much money. We're never gonna get the money back. And he went on, okay? So he's a C personality, most likely, right? So, and we'll talk about this, but accountant or like this, they know the numbers. But now, he says that it was a great decision, long-term decision. Don't worry about how much it's gonna cost now. If it's the right decision, you have the courage. Don't follow others, make your own path. We'll talk about this, very important. You have the courage, I know you do. Try, don't try to be like your neighbor. So we changed this is the team at we call it Riva, the new company, but since we started this, we got the sales exploded, okay? So 2017, you can see how in the last couple of years, we have a major change in our business. And it's all coming from this, training, recruiting. I don't care if you're a small business. If you're at 3 million, you need training, you need help for recruiting, get an outside source. It doesn't matter where you get it, but you need training and you need recruiting so you can hire the best talent. Let me show you, okay? So as a leader in a company, so a lot of times I said, if something doesn't work, I said, let me do it, right? So I'm walking in the HR office, I said, what's going on? I need salesmen. Why we cannot find any salesmen? That's in 2007, that's just 2019. I said, what's wrong with you? Why can you not find salesmen? That's your job, right? I'm mad. I said, you know what? I'm gonna do it myself. So we had this, at this point, to find the right person. I had to do 100 interviews to find the one person. I did 100 Zoom interview, 10 minutes each, which step number 3, 10 minutes Zoom interview, which is a big progress. Don't do in-person interviews anymore. Zoom really works. Using Indeed, Calendly, it's awesome. But to find the right person that had what they're built for, so there was inside sales position, okay? I want to be somebody that has the right disc assessment. And the second thing was do they have the passion for it, okay? Does she want or he wants to help people in sales? They gotta be wanting to help people. They wanna make money. It's definitely something that can motivate people, but it's short term. They gotta love to help people, okay? And then the last thing is, can we afford them? And that's very blurry because if you're a football fan and you're like, hey, should we get a first-round draft pick or should we trade in and pay a lot of money to get Tom Brady? You probably pay a lot of money to get Tom Brady, right? Agree? Yes, you're right, it's awesome. So you would pay for more talent. But depending on your business size, if you have a $3 million or less business, you're gonna look for leaders even more than ever. You might not have the experts that you need. If you get to 10 million, there's a switch. You're gonna have people that are a lot better than you are. And it's hard to get off this. It was a big transition for us at that point, but to bring him, okay, so we do all these interviews. I'm all excited, the disc assessment match, we do 1, 2, 3 interviews, and then we hire her, this girl is named Lizzie, and then we get her on board, and then onboarding, and we get everything set up, and then guess what? She quit. No, I'm just joking. She is awesome. She's awesome. She's crushing it. She's one of her best. And we build this whole process of interviews from her. And so I'm going to do real quick right here. I don't have too much time. And again, the slides, if you have some questions, Mark, I might be able to squeeze that in there. But the disc assessment is very important. Anybody use any type of assessment for hiring or to understand your team, how they communicate and learn from each other? Yes, awesome, right? So there's free online. If you just type free online disc, you have, everybody needs to do it. Everybody needs to do it for your team so you can understand how to communicate and you can identify the skill, okay? So let's play a game here, okay? If you are looking for a salesman, what personality of the disc would you go with? Who said that? It's okay, good. I is great. Will Smith, very charismatic, right? You want to connect with people, communicators, awesome. What we find out is that these, like Tiger Woods, that are really, really, really hungry, they want to win at all costs, basically, they want to get their goal, they want results oriented, that are probably the best. So any combination with ID or CD even, I've been the best producer for outside sales. But this is critical, you need to do it for yourself, and Rob's got an awesome class in a breakout session. I recommend you go in and learn from this to understand that this what it means really for your business. Okay, so this is my last slide. So I'm telling you a lot of process, a lot of procedure, what your business should look like, what people should be focused on. You got emotion going, but the biggest thing that's most important that you're gonna learn the whole thing here is you need to have action. Action is the most important ingredient of everything. Don't be afraid, okay? You're courageous, don't be afraid. This is a fun video before you watch it. Anybody knows Dan Pena? Okay, so we remixed one of his videos.
You stand around and watch all the opportunities go by. They sit there, oh, I'm getting ready, Bert's getting ready, Bert's getting ready, Rick's getting ready. Oh, maybe the next one, maybe the next one, maybe the next one, oh, fuck no, I'm tired now. Maybe the next one, and there comes somebody like me, just jumps on the fucker and eats it. Maybe the next one, Ray. Who in this room is that male lion? And the truth of the matter is the female lion does all the fucking hunting, not the male. Once you become fearless, life becomes limitless.
Once you become fearless, life becomes limitless. Let's do this, guys. That's all I got for you. This is my contact information. If you want Zoom, scan it. Thank you very much of a pleasure. Hopefully you learned something, and I'm always available. I'm giving you my contact information right here. If you scan it with your phone, my contact should pop up. So thank you so much again. Thanks for having me, Dmitry.
Give it up for Martin, guys.
Spit a monster.